the exact same hormone that grows a thick, full beard on a man's face, is also the hormone dismantling the hair on top of his head. Same molecule, opposite results, often on the same person at the same time. This is called the androgen paradox, and it's real, well documented, and almost never talked about. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why it happens, and you'll understand why a DHT blood test tells you almost nothing about whether you'll go bald. Here's a quick foundation. Testosterone gets converted into a more potent androgen called DHT, dihydrotestosterone, by an enzyme called 5-alpha reductase. That enzyme comes in two forms, type 1 and type 2. Both convert testosterone into DHT, but they show up in different tissues and different amounts across your body. And here's an important distinction to hold on to for the whole video. DHT's effect on any given follicle depends on what's happening locally at that follicle, not on how much DHT is floating around in your bloodstream. So if the hormone is identical, why are the results opposite? Because the difference was never the hormone. It's how each follicle interprets the signal. At the base of every hair follicle sits a cluster of cells called the dermal papilla. We can think of this as the follicle's control center. And those cells carry androgen receptors. DHT binds to those receptors, and what happens next is entirely dependent on how that particular follicle is wired. The easiest way to picture it is DHT is one universal key, but beard follicles and scalp follicles have installed completely different locks. Same key goes in, opposite doors open. Let's look at both and start with the beard. When DHT binds the androgen receptor in beard dermal papilla cells, it triggers growth-promoting signals. The big one is IGF-1, right? Insulin-like growth factor 1, which prolongs the growth phase and enlarges the follicle. Beard cells also pump out more stem cell factor, another pro-growth signal. The result is exactly what you would expect. Thicker, darker, fully terminal hair. DHT here is a builder. Now, the same hormone, the same receptor, but in a genetically susceptible scalp follicle. This time, binding triggers growth-inhibiting signals, TGF-beta1, TGF-beta2, a protein called DKK1, and the inflammatory signal IL-6. These suppress the follicle's ability to proliferate, and they shorten its growth phase. And over successive hair cycles, this is what drives miniaturization. Thick terminal hairs shrinking, cycle after cycle, into thin hairs. The same molecule that built the beard is quietly ruining the hairline. And here's the part that's actually useful, because this paradox doesn't just exist between your face and your scalp, it exists within your scalp. Follicles at the front and the crown express higher levels of the androgen receptor and 5-alpha reductase type 2. More receptors, more local DHT. These are the regions that recede and thin. But the follicles at the back and the sides express far less of both. They're DHT-resistant. That's not a coincidence. It's the entire reason that hair survives, and it's why surgeons harvest from the back of the head for transplants. Those follicles keep their resistance even after they're removed. So our hairline and the back of our head are running different genetic software, despite sharing the exact same bloodstream. Because the effect is about local receptor sensitivity, not how much hormone is in your blood, two men with identical DHT levels can have completely different fates. This is why some men with high testosterone never lose a single hair, and others with perfectly average levels start receding in their 20s. Genetics set the sensitivity of the lock. The amount of hormone is almost beside the point. It's also why DHT-blocking drugs like finasteride, which is a 5-alpha reductase inhibitor, work by lowering DHT throughout the body. You're turning the hormone down everywhere, not just where you want it, which is exactly where the trade-offs come from. Okay, there's one more layer, and it points at where the field is heading. That suppression in balding follicles isn't just about adding stop signals. AGA also involves crosstalk between androgen signaling and the Wnt beta-catenin pathway. And Wnt beta-catenin is one of the central drivers of the hair growth phase. In susceptible follicles, DHT binding is associated with dialing that growth pathway down. That reframes the whole problem. A lot of next generation hair science is shifting from only blocking DHT toward restoring the growth signal that DHT suppresses. Quick disclosure, that's the exact side of the paradox that our ASLF Formula's hair growth serum works on. The core active, densital, and award-winning microalgae complex is a Wnt beta-catenin activator. So rather than touching the hormone, It works on the downstream growth signal in this equation. Different lever, same paradox. Link is in the description if you want the details. So the one sentence version, it was never the hormone. It was how each follicle was wired to respond to it. And once you see that DHT is the enemy stops being the right frame. The real story is signal interpretation, and that's a far more hopeful place to start. I'll see you next time.